LA Noire, a city of the future. A city where every man gets his own private home and stories of the Old West get told. A city where it is perfectly fine and legal for an average beat cop to run up to your car that is, for some reason, always unlocked and steal it from you. We play as Officer Cole Phelps, a World War II veteran beat cop that just got a call from some detectives in his precinct that told him to help with an investigation. Driving over, I get reminded that no matter what game it is, Rockstar excels at making cars and horses feel amazing to drive. Arriving on the scene, we get in the uptake and learn that the victim was a black kid, and they couldn't find the murder weapon. Checking around, I couldn't find anything that could leave such a gruesome blood spatter, except this paintbrush. It could be thrown at such a high velocity that it went through the victim's head, and the impact made the exact same noise a gun would make. Yeah, that's what happened. My partner noticed a reflection of a gun above me and asked himself a very reasonable question.
How the hell did you see that?
I think he may have some mental problems. After shimmying up a pipe, I find the murder weapon and take the initiative to go to the nearest gun store and ask if they sold this gun. Ignoring the fact that LA probably has hundreds of gun stores, and this gun store could have just so happened to be the only gun store that, ever sold this specific type of gun with this specific type of pro grip, and holy shit, it is. Speeding over to the perp's apartment, we bang on his door and wait for him to answer.
Hello there, officers. What do you want?
Show me your ties.
It's in here.
Oh, you dumbass, you got plaid, get him!
What are you talking about, man? No, I like my ties. Stay away from me.
That makes 3. My chi is cleansed.
Beating down this tie-wearing filibuster, we get told off by our partner before throwing him into the slammer and calling it a job well done. As this game is over 30 hours long, for the rest of the video I will be doing a few traffic cases, but most of it will be homicide. The console's car starts us with getting informed that a vehicle was spotted in the middle of a housing area by itself. And, skedaddling out of there and stealing a car, I drive over. We got a missing tire, a missing license plate, and a random wrench. Not a lot to go off of. Also, there was a missing flag, but that doesn't pertain to the case, surely. Talking to our only witness, we meet the coolest guy around, Uncle Jacobs. Now, Uncle Jacobs doesn't have much to tell us besides the fact that the people who were working in the car were Argentinian and definitely not Mexican. And you can tell from our saturated, beautiful blue eyes that we're good people.
I suck ass at this. I'm gonna be so honest.
After Uncle leaves, we steal his booklet that he carries around and come to a startling realization about him.
Gabriel. What the fuck, book?
After washing our hands and burning the book, we head over to the car dealership from the wrench to continue the investigation. Here's another life story from me. When I was about 8 years old and living with my mother in the great nation of Islam, I was hired by my local car dealership to stand out in the lot and watch for anyone vandalizing the cars or attempting to steal them. I, as all 8-year-olds do, didn't do my job. Instead, I would just play with chalk and take naps in cars. This eventually made me able to instantly fall asleep in any car, and got me fired. Easy $20 though. Arriving at the place mechanical workshop, we look around and find that a one Gabriel Delgado was responsible for the theft of the car's singular wheel. After using very friendly means of interrogation, we find out where Delgado lives, and after sweeping his pregnant girlfriend off her feet, she reveals that he's going to an illegal race downtown. Kinda like my dad. But before that, let's meet the guy who owns the vehicle. His name was like Volley de la Cruz. I forget what his name is. Oh, I remember. It's...
You fuck young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman? This will cause
fuck young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman? Are you a madman? This will cause
You fuck young boys, Valdez. You
Are
fuck
you a
young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman?
You fuck young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman? This will
fuck
cause
young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman? This will cause
You fuck young boys, Valdez.
Are you a
fuck young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman? This will cause an intersection.
You fuck young boys, Valdez. You fuck young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman? This will cause an intersection. This will...
We'll be in touch, Consul General.
Speeding off from my newest psychotic break, we head over to where the race is going to be, and I can't help but think these cars remind me of Disney Infinity's racing game mode. I mean, look.
Stay on till
get in the way.
Not the best example, but who's over here forgetting to make a YouTube video, me or you? After running our suspect off the road, we finally finish the first case in this video. Overall, I like the story, I like the characters. I think I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. The Fallen Idol is one of my favorite levels in this game, because the crime happens across the street from the police precinct. An older lady and a little girl were found nearly dead from an apparent attempted murder. Arriving over using the normal precinct-approved roadways, I talked to another brother in the force before going down and looking at the car.
You'll want to see this, Phelps. There, laid out on the trunk. And that isn't even the best part.
Ignoring the underwear left in the car, I read a letter from the child's mother begging her to come home from Hollywood. Inside the car, I could see where she hit her head. Seems very painful. Talking to the older woman, she not so subtly says that she's going to fucking murder the guy that did this. Now, believe it or not, from what you've seen of my actions during this game, you play as a cop. Ignoring this lady's mob connection, we head over safely to go talk to the kid, who's currently in the hospital. Hey kid, I'm Officer Cole Phelps, and I just want to, it probably was so terrifying for you being only 15, what?
Yeah, I'm so 52.
Ma'am, you look 10.
No, I'm totally 15.
No, you're not 15. No, you lied on a medical document, ma'am. Ma'am, you lied on a Arresting another criminal today, I see Mrs. Mob Lady leave and tail her, as this is my right as a police officer. Following her, I see that she enters a coffee shop and go in after her to listen. By the way, if you have any other games that you think I should play and post on this channel, please do tell. I love doing this kind of content, and I want y'all to have a bigger impact on what's happening here. After we get the address of the supposed perp who did this, we had to realize the people already beat us to it. After forgetting how to do melee fights and looking it up really quick, I lay out both of the goons. And after outgooning them, I chicken on the perp's wife, and without a hat, she gives up almost everything about him and tells us where he was last. A little bit of an actual review here. The side content is laughably bad. Like, listen to this entire conversation and tell me if this is well written.
I don't know what you're talking about. We weren't doing nothing.
I've seen you little sons of bitches prowling around my store. I'll show you. I'll teach you not to.
Sir, drop the weapon. You've been drinking, sir. You don't really want to.
3 times I've been robbed. Ain't nothing gets done about it.
While I do love this game for its amazing setting and story and sometimes incredibly funny voice acting, these side content bits, they stick out like a sore thumb. I'm going to be completely honest. Scrapping the script, I'm going to be so transparent with you. I did 5 of these and I was like, man, this is really boring, because it's either you do a little bit of parkour and you stop someone from doing something, or your goal is just to kill the guys.
Why don't I feel anything?
Entering this den of debauchery and talking to this sleazy specimen, he brings us into Diddy's recording studio. And after looking around, I find out this lecherous individual has a secret goon cave where he records Diddy and his debaucherous acts. I spent a long time in this guy's bathroom looking around where to find an entrance, but actually it was besides this Roadrunner-esque wall. And after looking inside and finding an empty case of the Diddy acts that the man we're hunting for did, we grill this ne'er-do-well on what he ne'er did well until someone enters this building. A suit? With a matching hat? This guy must be a cop. And this guy that has deep ties to a child sex ring is his informant? Weird. That guy looks really hard to keep in character. Going outside, I didn't even see this guy's car anywhere, but I did see 2 members of the mob that offered me and my amazing partner some money to give a tip on where our perp is. Naturally, I don't tell civilians on what's going on in an active investigation. And also, naturally, they use their Second Amendment right to shoot at me. After politely telling them that guns are for weak little babies, I head over to the movie spot to arrest the guy I spent over 4 hours searching for. Now, I don't mean to be a fink, but if you didn't do the crime you think you're going to be accused of, why try this hard to run away? I'm on top of a massive movie set chasing this obese man in the suit yelling, "She said she was 15" at me. She was obviously 10 years old. Eventually, I catch up with the contemptible bastard, and after reading him only half his rights, I look down and see a sea of mobsters rushing at us. Upholding the law is important to me, so here's me gunning down almost all of them. After getting promoted to homicide by our captain, the guy that is also a cop shows up and brings us to a cool bar, and after calling a brother something not so nice and doing this...
Who do you think you're talking to, you German junkie whore?
He says that me and him are gonna be best buddies. Man, being a cop is so cool. Since we're 12 minutes in the video, and only the true fans are watching, I would like you as a true fan to please like and subscribe, hit that bell. Please, I wanna be a YouTuber. I wanna have that big old Minecraft mansion, you know. Anyways, back to the video. The Golden Butterfly is one of the first in a long line of maybe I don't like this game missions. For starters, the guy that we drive with is a total dick, and also I don't like looking at the gored corpses of young women, believe it or not. So anytime there is one on screen, y'all will get to see a random LeBron image I have on my PC. Getting over there, we find a nameplate for a Dier Mahler, and her corpse too. We got what seems to be rope marks on the neck, an injury that also looks like ropes, only on the right wrist, and a missing wedding ring that looks torn from the body. Also, a lot of very inappropriate words written on her naked body with lipstick. After composing myself and drinking some cold water, we drive over to the husband's house, only to find the daughter of the two, actually, I guess daughter of one, home alone. After informing this little girl her mother died in a brutal and horrible fashion, Daddy comes home, and after writing in my notebook a bunch, he gets really mad, so I arrest him because you're not allowed to raise your voice around me. Going over what the daughter told us, her pops likes to drink and hits her mom a lot, and to make up for it, he gave her a jewelry pendant. Too bad that it wasn't on her body. It sounds pretty. Pulling up to a school to check out an alibi, I accidentally skip a cutscene and I'm thrusted into a chase against this dude. After chasing him, I realize this guy's a super senior that shows up and sees if he still has game with the freshman. Putting him in a room as a potential suspect, I look at his car and find literally everything I need for a conviction. Going over to the coroner's place and looking at ropes, and I'm pretty sure that they look the exact same. But I'm still not convinced. If only there was a way to see if the shoe sizes between the two men match the ones at the crime scene. Heading over to the interrogation rooms, I'm told by my boss that if I don't get the super senior convicted, he'll bend me over and rip me open a fourth hole down there. Talking to both men, neither have a good explanation to why they both have things covered in blood. Oh, I forgot to mention that the husband tried burning a shoe covered in blood. Like, I know I'm definitely not the softest table corner in the daycare, but I mean, this looks really bad. Even so, I don't want to convict the wrong person here. So, I drove, thinking about how I should go about this. Even if it's a game, I don't want to compromise my personal morals. That's why I like playing games that challenge them. But at the same time, that pedo bear guy is definitely a bad dude and the world would benefit from him being in jail. But would it be right to put him away because of another man's actions? Coming back to the precinct, I breathe in, breathe out, and go and convict the husband for the murder of his wife. I took a long break after this mission. Long enough to get sick twice, and now I'm staring down a deadline for my classes and a Tyler concert the day they're due. Anyways, 6 out of 10 mission. Coming out of a severe fever that had me in so much pain, I was about to sell my soul for just some pain meds. The commissioner sits down in our booth, all jolly like he didn't give me a severe rectal pain from what he did to me, and kicks his ass to solve another case and eat our food. I spat in mine before I left. I don't like that prick. Driving over to the woman's body, we get the same signs of the last killing. At least she had half of a library card, so it'll be easy to identify her. Using my 1911 vision, I can see a quite frankly stupid trail of blood that leads me to multiple clues. I mean, the devs could have been cool and like hid items around, but to use such an obvious blood trail, this game sucks. Finding the victim's purse and heading over to her apartment, I see her room looks a lot like my sister's and that she cracked a window open to let a little bit of some air. Chatting up this beauty for a little bit, I call her some dirty words and she tells me where she was the last time she saw her. Heading over to the El Dorado bar. Inside, I talk to the bartender who shows me that she left divorce papers here, which shows me her now widower's apartment. In another act of brilliance, my jackass of a partner decides to kick down the door and point a gun at a suspect's face. And after a pretty lengthy fight where I wanted to dodge like Ultra Instinct, but instead got my teeth kicked in, we cuff the two and then go door to door to see if anyone has any info that would help. Here comes another part of the game that I think was weird. Listen to this line delivery.
Hello.
LAPD, ma'am. Did you hear a disturbance last night?
Yes. Yes, I did. Mrs. Maldonado lit out of here and her husband ran out after her.
You saw this, Miss?
Aranda. I had the door open a crack.
I have a feeling that she wanted to cuff me to the bed and do some dominatrix stuff, but I genuinely couldn't tell if that was supposed to be conveyed or just the consequence of the weird voice acting. Anyways, we head over to the husband and chat him up, and he tells us that the last time he saw her was at this open-air grocery place. Not my typical joint to go to, but I wouldn't mind a banana right now. Talking to the worker, he tells us that he's been peddling drinks after hours and gives us access to his secret spot to investigate. And after seeing the bloody knife in visible view, and it was left out in the open, by the way. I'm gonna put this up on screen. It was just out there. And doing a normal pit maneuver on the guy that was escaping, I charge him with a crime. This one was a lot easier than last time. I hope it stays this way. The White Shoe Slaying has to be my favorite mission, not only for its amazing way to tell its story, but also I get to see the rain. Sometimes I forget that for a very long time, I lived a lot of my life in Los Angeles, and the rainy days were always my favorite. I got to stay inside and listen to it like pitter-patter on the windows, and it's made me feel calm, relaxed. Like, all the stuff that was happening wasn't really happening. But I mean, hey, that's some bullshit. Let's go back to the crime scene, am I right, guys? Being lucky this time, the woman has clothes on for once. Looking around, I can't find anything other than the usual markings, until I spot a dry cleaning patch in her shirt. Leaving the body, a neighbor of hers comes over and tells me that she saw a scary, disfigured homeless guy the night this young lady was murdered. This might be our killer for this woman, but it might also be the killer for all those other cases, which could net us a serial killer and free all the men I wrongly convicted. Fuck. Heading over to her husband's house, he shows clear signs of, damn, my wife is a fucking bitch syndrome. Right down to the muddy boots that match the footprints at the scene, and a wet jacket. It was clear to me that his alibi of coming home after the party was a lie, but I needed more. Going to a bar she frequents, I learned that a sailor and another man were chatting her up, and that one of them was still here, long after the fact. Trying to talk to the chap, he runs away from me and I'm forced to brutally extract information out of him by talking to him like a normal person. Coming to the station, the sailor lad is there willingly, and answers most of my questions in a gray fashion, making the case all the more confusing. I got a report that the man the woman had seen was at a local homeless camp, and I head over. Officer Finbar thinks it's a good idea to bring a gun to the fucking camp and ruins the whole investigation by murdering 2 homeless dudes, and then fight my main suspect. Seriously, who thought it was a good idea to let this asshole in the force? I swear. I don't swear, actually. Except when the times I do. Beating our main suspect in the fight and going to inspect his shanty house, I see that he used to work for the military, and I find a green purse and a bloody rope in his room. Now, based on all the evidence, I can only conclude that this is the man who killed the woman, not her husband, even though he seems very plausible. But something's off. This doesn't feel right. It feels too easy. I feel like someone's pulling the strings. The studio secretary murder is pretty boring, and I need to get this video up before I leave for the Tyler Creator concert in Vegas. So we get there, we see the body, talk to a guy that was kissing the corpse, he gets decked, we head over to the store of someone that she knew, find a book in this little hidey hole from this one guy, find him using my mind powers, question him a little bit before breaking into his house and finding the evidence. Once again, in clear view, like last time, a little bit weird. Then chase him and arrest his ass there. Now we can get to the meat of the video. I mean, this is the end of the video, but trust me, there's some meat here. Keep watching, trust. The Quarter Moon Murders, the last case I will ever complete, starts with us reading a letter from the werewolf, the guy that's supposedly been behind every murder I have ever solved. By some miracle, Phelps, the character you play as, by the way, I don't think I actually brought him up before, understands that the letter is literal, and we go over to a fountain, and at the top of it is Elizabeth Short's ID, the first victim. Along with it was a letter to the next clue, and when my sanity started to dip. Days I spent sitting there reading the paper, not knowing what to make of it, and my desire to look up a guide increased and increased. The game sat there stale in my Steam library for days at a time, while I spent my time editing the earlier bits of this video to try and take my mind off the impending doom that was being set on me. I edited and edited, with the riddle always in the back of my mind clawing at my skull, leaving deeper and deeper cuts every time. But eventually, after hours and hours of thinking and wondering and pondering, I found the answer. After taking my normal pills and heading over to the Hall of Records, I ask a confused guard how to get onto the chandelier, and after tightrope walking, like the Flying Graysons, I find the Mahler lady's missing watch. As I try to get off the chandelier, it breaks, and I'm forced to Donkey Kong my way back to safety using my knowledge of how gravity works. Heading over to the next clue location, that being the public library, I find the missing necklace of that one Hispanic lady and a third clue. Following it this time leads us to a tar pit, which I never knew existed in LA. I like this area's bit though, where you have to wade through tar and find your way over to the clue before sinking. Getting over there, I find the third clue and another victim's shoe. I'll skip the next two clues because they're hella boring, and I want you guys to play this game too. Now, coming to the final confrontation between me and the werewolf inside the church. That's his name, by the way. Forgot to mention that. He's the guy that's been killing everyone. He runs away to the sewer, and I chase him, which gets me a giant hole in my chest. Next attempt, I use a method developed by my late mentor, Solid Snake, and after sneaking around, I gun him down. Climbing up to get my reward for stopping the serial killer, I'm informed by my chief that the werewolf was the brother to someone higher up, and I won't get any reward. Then the mission ends. That's it? That's what happens after all this time? Multiple hours spent wondering what I'm supposed to do, and the suspicion someone was setting me up, and all I get is a pat on the back and a front row seat to the Secret Service covering all this up? I don't know what to say. And so the game ends, at least for me. There's way more stuff to do in this game. In fact, 2 other whole stories in DLC that I didn't cover. But that's for you to find. If you're into detective games and okay with waiting for this game to be on sale, I think you should get this game. Anyways, I got a flight to catch. Sorry for the quietness on my part. Next video will be Ultra Kill, so watch out for that one if I don't get bogged down by my homework. Thank you all for watching.